The PressBox High School Lacrosse Show is sponsored by Jerry's Tire, located in Baltimore City, just steps away from Little Italy and historic Jonestown. Jerry's not only sells all the major brands like Bridgestone, Michelin, and Continental, but is your go-to shop for everything from oil changes to factory schedule maintenance. All repairs are backed by a nationwide warranty. The team over at Jerry's has been serving the Baltimore area for over 62 years and are eager to earn your business. Give them a call at 410-685-4330 or visit them online at jerrystires.com to shop for tires and schedule an appointment. That's GERRYS tires.com. Now, here's Booker Corrigan.
Hey now, we are coming to you from the live Casino Hotel studio. Booker Corrigan alongside Glenn Clark, and boy, what a season for high school lacrosse. The public schools still have some scores to settle.
Yeah, championship games to be played this week.
Which is awesome for them, and I think that there's so many great programs out there. Obviously, Steve DeFeo, head coach of the Westminster Owls, building on being undefeated. It's always a little scary when you go into big-time playoff games and you're undefeated because
you just never know, right? Yeah.
And you want that. Sometimes a high school kid learns so much more by losing a game in April, and it carries them. Obviously, look at Calvert Hall. They lost an early game to Hill Academy, and that was about the last time they got challenged, quite honestly.
Basically. So that's obviously, this week we're not going to do quite the same show that we do typically because we're really putting the wraps on high school lacrosse season, Booker, and the big headline being that, as we assumed all year, Calvert Hall really was the team to beat in the A conference, and they made some history.
You actually misspoke.
Oh.
You said Calvert Hall was a team to beat. And I'm going to tell you the correct way to say it is Calvert Hall's the team that can't be beaten.
Well, that's true. That is true. You're right about that.
They really did. The FCA Lacrosse MIAA Game of the Week, we put them on about 5 or 6 times, and it was a pleasure because they're very welcoming, unbelievably hospitable. One of their managers, Scotty McShane, does a great job of helping us get all set up where we need to be. And then, as a broadcaster, which you do, you're rooting for the 1-goal game, the 2-goal game. Give me a 3-goal game, and I'll work with it.
That's the best for keeping everybody interested.
Calvert Hall
didn't give you a lot of those.
Calvert Hall didn't give me a lot of those.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And I would talk with head coach Brian Kelly, who I consider a dear friend, and I'd say, BK, can we keep it within 3? And he's like, I don't even know if we can beat these guys. Like, literally, as a coach.
Course. Right.
And I told him a story before one of the games. I was joking with him. I said, I know exactly how you feel. I was when I was the head coach at McDonough, I was, scouting and preparing a game plan to play Friends. And McDonough's better than Friends. They were in the A conference at the time. We were better. But I've been watching them on film, and I found that they set moving picks on the inside. And by the time you're 15 minutes from face-off and the referees come walking up to you to say hello, what are your captains, who's your in-home, that kind of stuff, I was on them. I'm like, listen, this game's hanging in the balance, and they set moving picks on the inside. You got to let me know that you're going to be watching for those right from the get-go. And they're kind of scoffed it off. They're like, okay, coach, we'll keep an eye on the moving picks on the inside. We won the game 17-4. And one of the refs came over afterwards and said, I think we kept an eye on the moving picks for you.
Yeah, right.
But as a coach, you're terrified that today's the collapse.
I get it.
And you want the collapse to be, on April 15th, not on May 15th or May 17th when the championship was. And I'll tell you what, I released my all-MIAA all-star team. It could really be just Calvert Hall, and then you could have the other guys from the team. I'd love to see tomorrow night at Towson have Calvert Hall play an all-star team of MIA kids. I think the all-star team wins, but I think Calvert Hall give them a game.
Wow.
Calvert Hall, because they have a great face-off guy. They have a confident goalie. They have a defense that plays well. They literally, Bob Shriver and I do the games, and if you haven't had a chance to listen to those, go to MIAAlacrosse.com and find your way to look at the replays. Bob and I talked a number of times. There's nothing they don't do well. They ride like the Dickens. They play great transition defense. They crush you when they have the ball in transition. And they have good goalie and good faceoffs.
That's lacrosse, man. That's lacrosse, right? And
they really did put a clinic on. The big conversation I've had with people after Friday night was, can they win 4?
Right. That is the conversation.
And it's the same response I gave when they won 1, and people say, can they win 2? Can they win 3? I mean, every team loses their seniors. It happens every year. They all graduate.
Most of them do. Yeah, most of them. Most of them graduate. Yeah.
You move them along to college, and then you got to build and develop and find ways to fill holes or plug guys in that are ready to get plugged in. But Calvert Hall is certainly the class of the league this year. It was phenomenal.
So is there any reason to think that they won't be the team to beat going into next year?
Just the graduation of the seniors, and the one real telltale sign is the Under Armour All-American Underclass tryout.
Yep.
And we caught some flack because Corrigan Sports is the originator of that event, and we do run the tryout. People would complain like, oh, well, it's a lot of Calvert Hall kids on the team.
They're pretty good. Yeah, right. Like, they're okay.
Why wouldn't it be a lot of Calvert Hall? They've won 3 straight championships, and this year they were unscathed.
I hear you, man.
They were unscathed. So anyway, you go to that UnderArmourLacrosse.com website, sign up for the tryout. That callback game is the single highest level of lacrosse play you'll get. That is when you have MIAA All-Stars playing against each other. That really is when it happens. They're all on this, different teams. Then we pull them together, and the top 40 or 50 kids from that tryout compete. And the college coaches line up from goal line to goal line, if not further, on both sides of the field.
Wow.
And it is phenomenal. Now we have the Under Armour All-American Callback Academy taking place in November down in Richmond. We're going to have every kid who got invited to play in the callback game will get a chance to play in that. It's going to be the best showcase of the fall, right in the heart of the recruiting window. So the Callback Academy, also UnderArmourLacrosse.com.
There you go. I wonder, Booker, I wanted to run through. These are the championship games. Any more final thoughts on MIAA season? Anything else that you want to share before we put the wraps on MIAA season?
Kids on different teams suffered injuries. Calvert Hall went through pretty healthy this year, but kids had some injuries. Would that change things? I don't know, but there were some very, very good players.
I heard
Brendan Grimes was out for
yeah.
BL, and he's a big baller. He can play. So does that change? Does that change? I don't. If Stephen A. Smith's the only one who can tell you the right answer there.
That's right. He does.
He's the only one who knows.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't have the same.
That's a shame. That's a shame because he's making a lot of money. It's a shame that you don't have that because he's done really well for himself. Let me run through. These are the championship games, MPSSAA.
Love it.
This week. On the boys' side, it started 4A, Howard and Severna Park. That game Wednesday night, 8 o'clock.
Severna Park had a heck of a year last year, so it'll be interesting to see. Howard, Jimmy Crichton, their head coach. David Earle's the head coach at Severna Park. Go ahead.
Yep, as you mentioned, 3A, Westminster taking on Northern from Calvert County. And
it's going to be a tough one. I'll tell you what, I really do like Westminster, the Owls, that lacrosse program. They're accomplishing some things, so I'm proud of them.
That game Wednesday, 4 o'clock at Paint Branch as well. I believe all of them, at least the boys, are all at Paint Branch. On the 2A level, it is Century and Glenelg in the state championship game. That's tomorrow, 6 o'clock for that
I'd
title
have
game.
to take Glenelg to win that one. I think it's Josh Hatmaker's the head coach there.
You're telling me, man. I'm relying on you. And at the 1A level, Baltimore County and Harford County, Patterson Mill and Sparrows Point. That game is today at 5 o'clock at Paint Branch. So those are the boys' state championship games. On the girls' side of things, 4A level, the Lions of Delaney take on Severna Park. Of course,
Hoorah, Delaney.
The pride of Caroline Steele, who we just had the chance to chat with on my show a little bit earlier, now getting ready to play in the Final Four with Terps. That game is Wednesday at 6 o'clock. I guess the girls' games are also at Paint Branch as well. The 3A level, Westminster as well. The Owls take on the Mustangs of C. Milton Wright in the championship game, girls 3A. That's tonight at 7 o'clock. At the 2A level, it will be Hereford, the Bulls, taking on South Carroll. That game is tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And
Hereford's got a great organization. I was out with some of the Hereford parents last weekend, and there's a goalie, Posner, who I think is fantastic. Some people who are really gravitating towards that Hereford program.
Very cool.
Yeah. Clarkie, a little shout out for him.
That's where my
Pozners,
sons will go unless they end up getting athletic scholarships. Unless they end up being so good at something they go somewhere else, they would end up at Hereford.
Hereford's a great school.
Great
school, great area, great people.
Yeah, we're totally fine with that. And then the 1A championship on the girls' side, Loch Raven and Patterson Mill. So Patterson Mill, both their boys and girls playing for the 1A title.
And did you say Westminster? The Owls are both?
The same thing as well. 3A level, absolutely.
Proud of them.
So that game, the 1A championship on the girls' side tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So all the games at Paint Branch. So there you go. That puts the wraps on the public school side of things as well.
That does. That'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. There's some great players at those levels. I had the good fortune of coaching a bunch of kids, some who were Delaney boys and some who were Towson High School, Towson Generals.
Yep.
My man Leighton Betchel, who I've talked about on the show a number of times. PJ Fanchek, great player. My man Eddie Janik, some stars, and some guys who are going to go on to do great things, whether it's at D1 lacrosse or working for Deutsche Bank.
Yeah, right. Seriously, running Wall Street. Exactly right. Well, good stuff, man. That'll do it for us. That does it.
Does it for the High School Lacrosse Show. Go to UnderArmourLacrosse.com and get it that tryout. That is the premier showcase and the highest honor you can get. The Under Armour Senior Game at Homewood Field, end of June. Make sure you get tickets for that if you're in the area. It is the unbelievable showcase for the seniors. It's their crowning achievement, highest honor they can get.
That's awesome, man. Booker, thanks to you for doing this with us all season. Really appreciate it. At Booker Corrigan, of course, on Twitter. We will have one more. We have to finish up some of our college conversation next week, so
yes,
we'll do that after the Final Four. Real quick thoughts. I want to thank Jerry's Tire as well for making the show happen all season long. Appreciate them. They want to earn your business. Jerry'sTires.com, GERRYS Tires.com. Support them. They are huge supporters of local high school lacrosse. All right, I think that's good for me. Booker, you want to take us home?
Glenn, man, thank you so much for your knowledge and wisdom and your technological savvy
some of
over there. And to all of you, I'm Booker Corrigan reminding you, you only get one shot at today.